Today's show is sponsored by ExpressVPN. Reduce your ping time and get faster speeds when you game at expressvpn.com/inside. Welcome to Inside Gaming. I'm Brian. It's the Weekend Roundup. This is it. I'm the last one here. Let's do the news anyway. Cyberpunk 2077 made a lot of headlines for a lot of the wrong reasons after it released last month, with a lot of bugs, glitches, and performance issues on the base PS4 and Xbox One. I should put performance in quotes because it barely performed. Well, now it looks like people are kind of done with the game, and I'm talking about PC players on Steam. The game set a record, you might remember, when it released, becoming the first single-player game to break 1 million concurrent players on Steam. Since then, though, it has tailed off quite a bit. I checked this week. It was peaking at around 134,000 players over a 24-hour period. That's a big drop from 1 million. Now, of course, every game pretty much drops off after its release. That's normal, but there's a couple of caveats we should talk about. Wasn't Cyberpunk supposed to be one of those massive open world games that you'd want to play, I don't know, forever? I know the campaign was kind of short, though, if you just speed run all the way through it. Another bit of bad news, Get Hype noted that Cyberpunk's drop-off was 3 times faster than another big CD Projekt Red game, The Witcher 3. It took Witcher 3 3 months before it lost the same percentage of players as Cyberpunk did in just 1 month. And The Witcher 3, similar genre, big open world game with lots to do. Funny note, Witcher 3's player numbers are actually starting to tick back up lately, I assume because of all the press Cyberpunk has gotten. Of course, Cyberpunk has a multiplayer component that is going to release at some point. It's coming out. They got to fix the single player first. They've got a lot of work to do on that still. Meanwhile, CD Projekt Red has been sued by some of its investors after the buggy and pretty terrible rollout of Cyberpunk 2077. The suit was filed by a New York law firm on December 24th, so Merry Christmas Eve, CD Projekt Red. It alleges that the developer, quote, failed to disclose that Cyberpunk 2077 was virtually unplayable on the current generation Xbox or PlayStation systems due to an enormous number of bugs. As proof of this, they pointed to Sony's decision to completely pull the game off the PlayStation Store and, of course, Microsoft's full refund policy for the game, which almost never happens. CD Projekt Red, they're not backing down. In a statement, they said they will undertake vigorous action to defend itself against any such claims. And while we don't know how many people have sought a refund, the game, as of late last month, already sold more than 13 million copies. Damn. All right, moving on. Does Microsoft have some DualSense envy? The controller for the PS5 has gotten a lot of praise in the media. Some people says the best part about the PlayStation 5. Now Microsoft is wondering if it should maybe incorporate some of those ideas into their own controller. Tech Radar reported that they're asking people who bought the Xbox Series X or Series S for their thoughts in a survey, including they were asking stuff like whether it feels next gen. Kind of feels a little thirsty on Microsoft's part. A little, do you really like me? Are you sure? Microsoft also asked if the PS5's DualSense had any features that they might want to include in the next Xbox controller. Sony has hyped up the DualSense a lot, including the haptic feedback, the adaptive triggers, those change their resistance. Everybody says it's really cool, so we'll see if Microsoft follows suit. Speaking of Microsoft, here's an interesting tidbit. Apparently they tried to buy Nintendo once upon a time. It didn't go well, but they tried. That's according to Bloomberg, which has a story up on the 20th anniversary of the Xbox. Damn, I feel old. Kevin Backus, former director of third-party relationships at Microsoft, recalled that back in the day, CEO Steve Ballmer made us go meet with Nintendo to see if they would consider being acquired. It did not happen. He said that Nintendo, and I love this quote, just laughed their asses off. Like, imagine an hour of somebody just laughing at you. That was kind of how that meeting went. They didn't say exactly when that happened, but Ballmer became CEO of Microsoft in 2000, maybe around that time frame. They also apparently met with Nintendo in early 2000, that same year, to discuss a joint venture in which Xbox would build hardware for Nintendo. Their then head of business development, Bob McBreen, said the pitch was their hardware stunk, and compared to Sony PlayStation, it did. Boy, I can't believe they didn't go with that. Hey guys, your stuff sucks. You want us to make it better? So the idea was, listen, you're much better at the game portions of it with Mario and all that stuff. Why don't you just let us take care of the hardware? But it didn't work out. Yeah, you just insulted the hell out of them. They probably didn't take to that. While we're talking about Nintendo, they have made an acquisition of their own. On its investor page, Nintendo announced they are acquiring the Canadian developer Next Level Games, which made Luigi's Mansion 3. Now, they've had a long relationship with Next Level. They worked on Super Mario Strikers, Metroid Prime Federation Force, Punch-Out for the Wii. That was a good game. This will be the second studio they own in North America. Nintendo also owns Retro Studios. It's here in Austin, Texas. Those guys are great. Nintendo said they expect the deal to finalize by March 1st. And on the subject of Nintendo, the Switch, you know, it's had a good run in its almost 4 years. It has sold very well. Analysts predict it will continue in 2021, despite the release of the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. Speaking to GamesIndustry.biz, NPD analyst Matt Piscatella predicted that the Switch will outsell both next-gen consoles this year. He added, I will go a step further and suggest this will be driven by content and promotional efforts rather than the release of a new iterative model. Of course, he's referring to the rumors that we will be getting some kind of beefed up Switch Pro type console capable of better graphics this year. Another analyst, Sir Kentoto, also predicted something similar. He does expect the Switch Pro this year. He added, everybody expecting the Switch to run out of steam in 2021 is in for a bitter disappointment. The Switch will be the best-selling console this year as well, driven by more first-party games, a hardware refresh, and the device having developed into a lifestyle product for the mass market over the course of 2020. And yet another analyst, Piers Harding Rolls of Ampere Analysis, also predicted the Switch will be the big seller this year, saying he expects Nintendo's Switch family of devices to be the best-selling consoles again in 2021, following a very strong 2020. He also thinks a Switch Pro is coming this year. That is pretty crazy because you figure the PS5 and the Series X will catch up supply-wise this year, and those will be huge sellers. It's their first year. They're historically, that's when you sell a lot of consoles, but that'll be crazy if the Switch outsells them. And on to another of our favorite topics, Star Citizen. It was another good year of fundraising for the game. It raised nearly $79 million from backers in 2020. What was that phrase about a fool and his money? I'm just saying. That shattered their previous record of $47.7 million that was set in 2019. Geez, that's like close to doubling it this year. Seriously, what are y'all thinking? Do y'all think this is going to happen? Because it's not. Overall, the game has raised more than $340 million. That would already make it one of the most, if not it would be the most, I think, expensive game of all time. But if you're wondering, no, it's not out yet. And neither is single player Squadron 42. Don't hold your breath on either of those. So I'm just saying. All right, time for a 5-second review. It's an auto runner? Nope. Not my meat boy. Hashtag not my meat boy. That sounded really bad. All right, let's get to the games coming out next week. First up, King Arthur Knight's Tale. This is a unique hybrid between turn-based tactical games and traditional character-centric RPGs. Knight's Tale is a modern retelling of a classic Arthurian mythology story filtered through the dark fantasy tropes, a twist on the traditional tales of chivalry. Comes to early access January 12th. MXGP 2020, the official video game of the Motocross Championship, is back, baby. Jump onto your bike, let the adrenaline rise with this new gaming experience. I'm too old, I can't take that much adrenaline. My doctor said so. Take control, discover what's new in the official series. It comes to the PS5 January 14th. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game, complete edition. Rediscover the beloved 2D arcade-style beat-em-up inspired by the iconic comic and movie Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. The complete edition includes the original Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game, as well as its original DLCs, the Knives, Chow, and Wallace add-on packs. Play as your favorite characters: Scott Pilgrim, Ramona Flowers, Knives, Chow, Stephen Stills, and more. Was it Stephen Stills and Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young? I just wonder. Level up and learn new awesome abilities, unlock secret items and modes, summon powerful allies, and more. Team up with friends, combine your skills to battle your way through waves of tough enemies, or compete with them in awesome mini-games like Dodgeball, all on your way to defeat the League of Ramona's evil exes. It comes to PC, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and Stadia January 14th. that's all the news I got for you this week. I hope you had a good holiday. It's good to be back with you. I'm sad it's just me, but hey, you know what? We're going to ride this thing all the way down. I'm going to keep going until they kick me out. We'll see you next week.